Welcome to Beyond Revenue, Narratives of Revenue Leaders. I'm very happy to have you here directly from Oslo, Charles. Actually, you started your career in rugby, I saw, and as a physiotherapist, yeah, found your own company, moved to sales. Then you made a career in partnerships, and now you end up or you're now leading as a CRO for Optio Incentives, but handing over to you. So, who are you, and what are your responsibilities? What's your position?
Yeah,
Maybe introduce yourself quickly.
super intro. Yeah, definitely. I have quite a different approach of definitely from a CRO historical point of view. I'm actually a physio by trade. I started my own company. I actually had two, and really found out that this wasn't for me. I really liked building businesses and everything that goes into it, the dynamics, the customers, the marketing, the financial side, and so on. Like you said, yeah, I worked a lot in B2B, worked with food boxes, the biggest supplier in the Nordics there. I was a product manager, which had to launch a new food box through the Nordics, and sort of got the taste of it. So I had a little bit of luck and a bit of a chance, but someone that believed in me. From there, I moved to Lunabank and then up to Optio now. So yeah, Optio is a equity management software. We're based in Oslo. We're spread over 7 different countries. We serve around 1,000 equity programs across 100 countries. So we're growing fast. We've been bootstrapped up to about 4 million euros. And now we've taken on a new funding round. So we're all about growth now.
Interesting. Let's start with my first question. Why is your role as a CRO important for your organization?
Yeah, good question. I can probably tell you, I sort of got an intro to the job. There was no job available at Optio. And I really just had to sit down with the CEO and they discussed their challenges and stuff like this. So a little bit of time, and it was really down to they needed more help with data, analytics, and predictive revenue and everything that surrounds that. So we sort of really carved out the CRO role from that. So responsibilities in that sense is make the company more data and analytically inclined to really push new trends and predictive revenue, because it has been founder-led sales, not much time to do anything else than just to get as much revenue as possible, and really thinking about the foundation to build that data was not important at all. So my primary goal is really the data and analytics. And I have a few other roles, which is a PLG project, because we are sales led. So everything that is PLG or self-service, we're building out now, which we're doing. And I'm a little bit into trading and custody, because we do trade the shares, and it can be very profitable for us from the revenue side.
Interesting. Interesting. So let's zoom out a little bit. How do you see the role as a CRO in general?
I think it's, especially in the Nordics, there's not so many CROs around, but I think it is very different, because you can be from a scale up or a startup, and your role will be very different to someone that turns over 20 million. And finding those. So the role here really touches the customer journey. Everything that touches the customer journey either can produce revenue or there is a cost. And I find, though, in that respect is where I come into play here, and really touching on and see how we can make each department, sales, marketing, customer success, really process driven.
Interesting. So when you think about the general role or the general goals of your role, right? So you have your top line goals, and then you have the different role which are reporting to you. How do you set goals for the different roles, and how do you make sure they all fit together into one general goal?
Very good answer. Very good question. We have, like I said, been a scale-up startup, and we haven't really had that in place. So those top-line metrics have really been led by the CFO, really, and looking at those numbers. And my job is to put these processes in place in order to get those really high metrics that a CRO would you be using. So that is what I'm really working for now, and forecasting and net AR and churn and customer satisfaction. All those really numbers didn't really exist, maybe only in the financial side, but not really spread through the organization,
Mhm.
and really be that commercially minded company from all the way tech and product to customer success. Really have that on the back of your mind.
Interesting. And how do you set the focus, or what's your strategy to actually cover this topic, right? Because why I'm asking so detailed is, and then there are a lot of companies, right, who establish their role as a CRO, who's getting started with implementing a revenue-led growth instead of having sequential teams. So how do you approach this, and what's your strategy to really approach this topic?
Yeah. Um, it has been is what metrics should a CRO have, and then put them out. Do we have the data points, or we actually have a process in line to get to that? So that
Hmm.
has been my approach, is sort of build their foundation through marketing, sales, and customer success, build those processes, which might be down to onboarding, how long it has taken to onboard something, how happy have they been, and all these metrics or touch points, can we make them better, which haven't really been datafied in a way. They haven't been there. So just putting these in place to really work, that has been the approach so far, and we're very close after about 1 year of really working on this to really having a really good scalable machine where we can definitely push through Europe and beyond.
Interesting. Yeah, I think the challenge here is right to build the data model along the customer journey. So really to define it end to end, but build processes which go hand in hand between the teams. So, um, what role by touching this topic or structuring this topic, what role does technology play in really building a robust revenue architecture?
Yeah. So when I moved in, we had a little bit scattered. Sales was working HubSpot, customer success were working in Freshdesk, I think, and marketing. There was not really marketing. There was only one person.
Mm,
So bootstrapped, no marketing, and then it was to bring everyone under this same architectural tech stack, which we put
mhm,
everyone into HubSpot. And so this has been the really key to have the core there. Along with that, so not so much technology, but we hired a head of analytics who,
mhm,
because we have a lot of uh, code based data, where he can pull out and make some really sense of what product does the customer buy next. For example, what is the probability, how long, how much, and so on. So having that tech stack, especially with HubSpot, and then we use Looker and Power BI and stuff like this, which are very analytically heavy instruments, which can
mhm.
be. So that is sort of what we're based on right now, is building the base, the structure, the processes to really pull out that data.
Interesting. What would you say? What are the biggest challenges you faced so far with implementing technology or selecting technology?
Which one is right? I think is the best one to do. We really haven't a focus now. Is the technology we have, is that, can that be with us for 5 years or more? We don't want to chop and
Hmm.
change. Maybe it costs a little bit more because it's a better thing. So that has been the approach. Can the technology scale with us and provide that?
Interesting. And did you define their certain metrics before selecting, or did you structure your requirements there? Because I think that's one of the biggest challenges, right? With selecting the right tool stack. Yeah, and a lot of companies on the one side they do their research, right, and then they look at the tools and the features and the price. And some, I think, like you now did, right? You structure your customer journey and then see what kind of tool fits. How did you end up, or what were the requirements you had in order
Yeah.
to select the tool?
I could probably send you a slide of, I have all the departments and touch points, and then where
Sure.
each bit of data goes, and then which uh, tech stack sits in each department, from upsell to customer success to sending emails, inbound, outbound, and look like Yeah, yeah. It looks
Interesting. So a
just
full scope of requirements. Yeah.
yeah, and sort of just pictured
Excellent.
it, and then really just showed management this is the complexity of it, and it doesn't need to be
Yeah.
so complex if we have the right tools to pull it all together into a data warehouse where we can pull that out. Because we really
Fair.
only had a data lake in a way. It was nothing structured, and we're getting to a point now where it's getting much better and going to be a very strong machine soon.
Interesting. So 1 year as a CRO, can you name one big mistake you did and what did you learn of it, right?
Yeah.
Because we want to share about learnings, want to see where we have done wrong decisions, where we learned and optimized so
Mm,
others can prevent them.
yeah. One point stands out very clear to me, and that is a sort of backyard syndrome or in people's back pocket. So if you are snooping around in people's backyard, let's say product or tech, marketing or sales, and you ask them questions about, well, why are you doing this? Or what have you thought about this? Why did you come to this solution? And so on. They do not know what you are, who you do, and why the hell are you in my backyard? So get out.
Mm.
So that has been the biggest problem. So the challenge there is them not knowing the role of the CRO, not really understanding it. So to really align that, it really needs to come from the company or management or announcing what it is. It's a very new thing. Since the CRO does touch upon nearly most aspects of the company, it's having a clear understanding, or maybe not so clear, but an understanding that I may be asking these questions. So don't feel like, yeah, I'm questioning you what you have been doing. It's just I'm here to help. We're here to make the company as best as possible.
Fair. So, what advice would you give when implementing now, right? Implementing the role as a CRO when they haven't yet. What advice would you give companies who don't have this role?
It probably would be uh, is to outline what you are needing from the CRO. Is it the high metrics? Is it to lead the sales team? Is it a bit of like a commercial role as well, which is spreading across? Depends how you're going, but that person really needs to have relentless drive and sort of poke your head into all different places where possible without really annoying anyone. I think that is very key, and having the CRO obviously needs to be data and analytically inclined. That as a strong background, but having
Mm.
commercial awareness. So coming from sales, I think that and marketing and being a product manager, that has really helped me with everything customer facing and the interaction at those points.
Okay. When it comes to revenue leadership, right, and especially in countries, I would say in general in Europe, the revenue leadership is not really in place yet. I think it's getting more popularity. But which common misconception you see about revenue leadership?
Yeah, I think it's normally it's solely about cash or revenue. And they have this idea of where, I don't know, maybe the right hand man of the CFO, maybe, and not the extent of thinking about the role extends the whole customer journey. You know that you
Mhm.
have to put your head inside customer success and marketing itself, and maybe tech and product every now and again. So that it's a very siloed idea of what it is, and it's down to what we spoke about before, which is really getting the organization or people in general to understand the role of the CRO and how they help and how they can leverage.
Absolutely. And when you look a little bit in the future, what would you think will the role as a CRO evolve? So, what's ahead of us? What is your opinion here?
Yeah, I think I would think, because I'm a CRO, it's sort of the heart of the company. Since you touch uh, the customer across the whole journey, but also the company is there to make money and to save costs. And so you have this duo there where it is the customer journey, you have the touch, you have the cash, and the business itself where it's really need to generate the revenue. It's sort of, I find, that understanding and inclusiveness will really accelerate companies to go
Mm,
forward if they have that approach, which is quite difficult from the traditional thinking.
I think so too. Charles, thank you very much for your
Yeah,
insights and your thoughts around your learnings. I think it was an interesting view seeing it from your side. So thank you very much for your time, and see you soon.
perfect. Cheers. Thanks, Michael. Bye.
Cheers.